Welcome to Cinema Surgery. I felt compelled to create this video because of the monumental backlash against Joker Folie, with a disappointing Rotten Tomatoes score and a lower cinema score than Madame Web, making it officially the lowest rated comic book movie ever. I think it's time we talk about why that criticism is completely unjustified and why the majority of people have missed the punchline of Joker Folie. Now, do I think it's a perfect movie? No. Is it as good as the first Joker? Also no. But is the film misunderstood and not getting enough credit for what it does well? Absolutely. In my view, receiving a lower cinema score than Madame Web is grossly unfair. Yes, art is subjective, but as a collective group of cinemagoers, critics and audiences alike, we should be ashamed. Unlike some of the formulaic cookie-cutter films we're seeing these days, at least Folie is trying to say something. In this video, I'll highlight the key aspects of where Joker Folie excels and stick around until the end where I'll explain why I believe many have misunderstood the punchline. It's fair to say that Todd Phillips' fresh and groundbreaking interpretation of Joker in 2019 took both the industry and audiences by storm. While the overall reception was positive, the film sparked intense debates among critics and moviegoers, with concerns about its potential negative influence on audiences. With the sequel, Joker Folie, Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix didn't take the easy route. After the first film's box office triumph, they could have stuck to the same formula and easily raked in another $1 billion. Instead, they chose to subvert expectations, a bold move that deserves admiration. Like true artists, Phillips and Phoenix are disruptors, always striving to challenge both themselves and their audience. Phillips' decision to steer the sequel in a daring new direction was necessary to set it apart from the original. You may see it as a mess, but within that mess lies a deeper message. It's like Tracey Emin's My Bed, which, although it didn't win the Turner Prize in 1999, became one of the most discussed and influential artworks of its time, cementing Emin's reputation as a bold artist for years to come. In much the same way, Joker Folie might not be universally loved and it may not take home any Oscars, but it has already succeeded in sparking intense conversation and securing its place in pop culture. Like Tracey Emin's My Bed, this film pushes boundaries, and even if it's not to everyone's taste, its cultural significance is undeniable. Lady Gaga's portrayal of Harley Quinn was a triumph. Despite her relatively short time acting on the big screen, she once again proved why she's an Oscar-nominated actress. Her natural flair for singing and dancing was on full display, but it was in the subtle, quieter moments where she embodied an obsessed fan that she truly shined. While her interpretation of Harley might not sit well with die-hard comic book fans, her raw, almost Charles Manson follower-like energy was the perfect complement to this version of the Joker. It's also worth mentioning the excellent Brendan Gleeson, who delivered a standout performance as a prison guard resentful of Arthur's fame. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who could argue that the performances across the board were anything less than brilliant. The moment fans learned that the sequel to their favourite comic book villain film would be a musical, the backlash began. Across social media, outrage spread as people struggled to accept that their beloved clown prince of crime would be singing and dancing, especially with a pop star like Lady Gaga stepping into the role of Harley Quinn. I believe this pre-release negativity played a significant role in shaping the film's reception. For nearly 2 years, bad will surrounded the project. Movies, like any form of art, are influenced by what audiences project onto them. And if social media was any indication, many viewers went into Folie ready to dislike the movie before giving it a chance. While I'll acknowledge that not all the song choices were perfect, the decision to explore Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship and shared psychosis through song and dance was an interesting choice. The film pushes the boundaries of typical comic book adaptations, leaning more towards a psychological opera than a straightforward narrative. For that alone, it deserves credit for taking such a daring leap. Like the works of Shakespeare, these stories and characters are open to interpretation. Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet was divisive for similar reasons, yet undeniably fascinating in its execution. Ultimately, much of the backlash seems to stem from the film not being what people wanted it to be, rather than judging it on its own merits, which is incredibly ironic. More on that later. Once again, Lawrence Sherr's cinematography is nothing short of stunning. Sher, who earned an Academy Award for his work on Joker, brings the same gritty, visceral depiction of Gotham to life in Folie, particularly in the IMAX format. His ability to capture the city's decaying beauty and chaotic energy remains a visual highlight. Beyond the striking visuals, the film also contains moments of dark humour that shouldn't be overlooked. The audience I was with certainly found reasons to laugh, especially during the courtroom scenes with Joker. A special mention is also deserved for the makeup, costume and production design teams who brilliantly helped bring this gritty visual language to life. If you walked out of the cinema thinking that was Heath Ledger's Joker, then I fear you've completely missed the punchline and perhaps the overall message of both films. First, The Dark Knight and Joker exist in entirely different eras, The Dark Knight set in the modern 2000s while Joker takes place in the 80s. But beyond that, Folie serves as a sharp commentary on celebrity culture and the corruption of entertainment. It explores how someone can commit the most terrible acts, yet still be platformed by the media, gaining notoriety and admiration from society so long as they continue to perform the persona that's expected of them. In this case, the media, the prison guards, the psychotic prisoner, and even Harley Quinn are fixated on the Joker persona, not Arthur Fleck as a person. In fact, Harley never refers to him by his real name, and in a chilling scene, she applies makeup to him, determined for Arthur to become the Joker she desires, rather than accept him for who he truly is. When Arthur opens up to investigative reporter Paddy Myers and explains that it's not who he is anymore, Paddy is more interested in delivering a gotcha moment for the television audience than in understanding Arthur's humanity. Similarly, Jackie, the alpha prison guard, along with the other guards, constantly asks Arthur to tell them a joke. While Jackie shows a certain level of respect for Arthur, there's an underlying resentment rooted in Arthur's fame. At one point, Jackie even questions him, asking, "Do you think you're a star?" referencing a TV film made about Arthur's life. And finally, when Arthur repents for his actions and steps away from the Joker persona, he's left as the same pathetic man he was at the beginning of the first film. In a tragic turn, a psychotic prisoner delivers the fatal blow, eager to take on the mantle of the Joker, highlighting the dangerous legacy the Joker persona has left behind. The sad truth is that no one cared about Arthur Fleck as a human being. When he sought accountability for his actions, no one acknowledged him. It was only when he embraced his worst self, the Joker, that he received the attention he so desperately craved. In a meta way, critics and moviegoers have done the same thing. They didn't get the Joker they expected, so they've overreacted, delivering a fatal blow to what is, in fact, a solid and thought-provoking film. Unfortunately for the movie-going audience, the repercussions of this response will echo in the boardrooms of every major studio in Hollywood. The message is clear: don't take risks. But despite the negative reviews, box office performance and reactions, it's audiences who missed the punchline. From an artistic point of view, I'd argue it's Todd Phillips who got the last laugh. What do you think? Does Joker Folie deserve more credit, or was it simply too risky for its own good?